Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Monday, July 31st, around 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 2023. We're looking at day 22 of the Reykjanes Ridge eruption, and the winds have shifted, and the cameras are being occulted from the visibility of the volcano. We also have much more to talk about. The IPCC head is changing his stance on climate alarmism. Holy macaroni. Keep calm. It's boom time. Severe weather alert. Entergy transmission lines have been damaged, many without power. 3 rescued from their home. And the capital area down in Louisiana, battered by severe weather Monday afternoon. Let's take a look at the power outage map. Not much going on, which is good news. 20,000 without power in Missouri and just 15,000 without power in Louisiana, 12,000 in California. So the severe weather, not that destructive at this moment. Brutal temperatures are still on the rise, especially in Texas, the nexus of the Schmexus, and chances for scattered thunderstorms in the upcoming days. We've got 2 tropical systems in the Atlantic. No threats to the U.S. There's 4 tropical systems, 5. We've got 3 in the Eastern Pacific and 2 in the Atlantic. The 2 in the Atlantic are forecast to be moving all away from land, as well as all of the tropical disturbances in the Pacific. So all is safe for those on land. The Sierra snowpack is at 1,000% of normal. And that's obvious. If it's a record snow year this late in the season, if there's any snow, it's epic. Svalbard polar bears enjoy above average ice, and the world won't end if it warms by more than 1.5 C, says the new IPCC head. We'll get to that in just a moment, so stay tuned for that boom. Dangerous heat in the southern U.S. this week. A dangerous heat wave will continue this week across portions of the central and southern plains, the lower Mississippi Valley, and areas along the coast of the Gulf of Mexico. The combination of heat and humidity will result in daily maximum heat indices over 110, but the actual temperature will be more below 100. This will expand through eastern Texas, the nexus of the Schmexus, and the Arklatex into much of Louisiana and southern Mississippi by midweek. So stay tuned for the heat boom. It's coming for you, Tallahassee. Now, worldwide, we do have some flooding to report on. 2 dead as heavy rains batter Beijing, putting the city on alert. Landslides and flash flooding threaten the outer districts of the city, and more than 5,000 residents had to be evacuated from their homes. Take a look at these floodwaters. Oops, the road is missing. So clearly we can see there's some major flooding happening in the Beijing region. Many people needing to be rescued, and they just look, well, he's just sweeping it away. Get this trash out of my house. So our hearts and prayers go out to those affected in the damaged region. Seismic update. No quakes of note, all quiet across the globe. Take a look. Very low seismic activity, which is good news for all of us. There was an earthquake swarm at Torfajökull Volcano. This is north of Katla. And this began yesterday. The earthquake swarm took place at Torfajökull Volcano. This volcano is located north of Katla in the Meteor Glacier, which is down here. This is where Katla is. This area has had regular earthquake swarms over the last year. We've been reporting on it. Most of them have been down here. They've now shifted to the north, which is interesting. Torfajökull erupts highly felsic magma that is extremely explosive, and some type of magma that can flow as well, maybe in the later stage of the eruption, but not a lot is known about this volcano. So seismic activity centering on one region there, well, is giving us pause, so we'll keep a close eye on that. It appears as if in the last 36 hours that seismic swarm has ended, but we'll keep a close eye on it for you. The volcano is still occulted here in Iceland, and so not a lot to report on. It seems to be reduced activity, and in fact, the volcano could end its eruption within a week or so. Worldwide volcano news update. We've got Semaru, Chivalush, Reventador, Sangay, Nevado de Ruiz. Nevado de Ruiz to 20,000. Chivalush is volcanic ash is not identifiable in the satellite imagery. We've got Semaru puffing to 15,000. Sangay to 21,000. Sabancaya to 21 today. Fuego to 16. Mayon is still puffing. Santaguito as well. Ubinus, weak steam emissions. And what else we have down here? Bagana, little localized unrest. Ubinus, volcanic ash advisory. Take a look at Sangay in Ecuador. Emissions of ash and lava flow continue in the snow-covered edifice, making for beautiful, spectacular photography. Semaru to 14,000. And Rapeu volcano in New Zealand, the Crater Lake cooling phase is reversing. And it's warming now. So that phase of cooling has ended. The peak of the last warming was Christmas of 2022. So we're maybe going into a different phase and a phase of warming. As the Reykjanes volcano activity goes on stable, according to the reports, Liwotolo to 6,000. On to the space weather news update. You can see the uptick in the X-ray solar flare detection slowly increasing as there are more and more active regions turning around the limb. And if you've watched the channel for any length of time, you know that Earth-facing quiet is king. So if we have sunspots moving towards the limb, activity should increase. This one looks quite complex. In the next few days, we should see activity kicking up into the M region. This plage showing no spots, so really nothing very spectacular coming around the limb here. But as this active region departs, we will get M flares, maybe an X flare. So stay tuned for the boom as we wait for a geomagnetic storm slated to hit us in 6 to 12 hours. Just G1. Could last for a day or two, so that means tomorrow night, even though the moon's going to be in the way, we could see some aurora. So stay tuned for tomorrow night's update and get out and look up. Here is the current telemetry. We'll refresh it. Discover solar wind showing all is quiet. Solar wind speed is reducing now to about 350 kilometers per second. It's going to have to take quite a bit of plasma density to get this up into geomagnetic storm. So we'll see. Now, if you miss August's super blue moon, you'll have to wait 9 years for your next chance. The super blue moon is at the end of the month, right after my birthday, around August 31st. I don't have the exact, but I know it's 21 days after this full sturgeon moon, which is tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, the moon will seem extra big and bright, thus be quite a sight this August, with a sturgeon supermoon visible on Tuesday and then a rare blue supermoon boom coming at the end of the month. 2 of the 4 supermoon events of 2023 take place in my birthday month, August, with the first happening tomorrow and the second on August 30th. There will be a blue supermoon on the 30th, which won't happen again until 2032. Here's what you need to know so you can catch this summer's lunar double feature. First of all, a supermoon is a perigean full moon, better known as a really close moon or a supermoon. It happens when the moon is full during the closest point or closest approach to the orbit around Earth. It gives the appearance of an extra pop, making it look up to 8 to 16%, 8% bigger and 16% brighter than a typical full moon. Now, according to NASA, the moon's typical orbit ranges between 226,000 and 251,000 miles from Earth. So clearly, this will be a case when it is closer. So the full sturgeon supermoon is tomorrow. It peaks at 2:32 p.m. Eastern time. So in the evening, it will be a little weaker, but it doesn't rise here until around sunset. The second show is the rare blue supermoon, which happens August 30th. So stay tuned for the show for more details on how to look at that. But basically, you go out at night and look up at the moon. New dinosaur species discovered in Thailand. Here is the reconstruction of the mini microcursor Pseudobionesis. Yeah, that looks like a little bugger, just about 40 centimeters in length. A multi-institutional team of paleontologists has identified a new dinosaur species dug up in Thailand in 2012. In their paper published in the journal Diversity, the group describes where the fossil was found, its characteristics, and its conditions. And it's a tiny little dinosaur, similar to the size of a chicken. Now, the modern-day witch hunt, led by the climate change faithful, continues. And a great article indeed will be linked below. As we learn about ancient mass child sacrifice back in the day, guess what? Due to climate change. Yes, a mass child sacrifice in Peru that occurred over 500 years ago was probably due to an El Nino event, causing the population to panic and murder 132 of its children. Can you believe that? The link will be below. And the same thing is happening today. It's not climate change that is causing heat waves, but no one wants to explain why. But the good news is that the new IPCC chairman is rebuking climate hysteria and all the misleading claims by the media. In fact, in an interview with German news media over the weekend, the new head of the IPCC said it was wrong and misleading for climate activists to imply that a temperature increase of 1.5 degrees C posed any existential threat to humanity at all. The world won't end if it warms by more than 1.5 degrees, according to the new chairman. Yeah, it'll get greener and we'll have longer to have vacation. How about them apples? Now, what's causing this summer's extreme heat waves? Propaganda and panic. And fake news. The reality is that the available data so clearly reveal that there is no heat wave crisis, no increase in heat waves. Why are the media outlets suggesting the opposite is true? Well, the answer is sloppy, irresponsible media reporting, combined with cherry-picked data, and you get a total shit show. Fake news agenda and nothing but a bunch of sharticles in the scientific community. Here is the U.S. Annual Heat Wave Index from 1895 to 2021, and you can see where we are now today is much lower than, let's say, 2011, 1987, or how about back here in 1934 or 36? Holy macaroni. They're lying to you. Stop watching the mainstream media and throw your television out the window. Rare find in Müringen, Switzerland. Archaeologists discover a Bronze Age arrowhead, wait for it, made of meteoric iron. Yep, from a meteorite. This is amazing. The research conducted in Switzerland has brought light to compelling evidence of meteoric iron artifacts dating back to the Bronze Age, thus illuminating the early human engagement with these extraterrestrial metals. And no, it's not aliens, it's meteorites. Now, for the love of God, stop microwaving plastic. Shut up, Al. He microwaves his bundt cake in a little Tupperware. I yell at him all the time. But a study of baby food containers show that microwaving plastic releases millions upon millions of tiny polymer bits that you eat, and then you become gay. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned because the powers that be hate the facts that spew from this channel. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. Be safe. And that is a boom.